Hello everybody, hello everybody. Let's start this new chapter of the Bring Civilization Back Trust, chapter 82. There's a lot of stories, there's a lot of things going on, but my questioning at this end of 2025 is what is substantial of all of this? Because nevertheless, any problems one has, anything we complain about, there's a society that belongs to the problem. So, what civilization I'm trying to bring it back? Because usually when I started this fund, it's a trust fund. I had expectations. I was like, this is absurd. Like now we're back to brutalismo. We have all the technologies of the year 2000s. It's a lot of things. It's super complicated, cell phones and stuff. But we're back to primitive. We're back to what life was like 2,000 years ago. I for I, T for T. I pay, you get, you don't pay, you don't get. Like very basic. As life used to be 2,000 years ago. So we went backwards 2,000 years. It was a civilization. It's talking about maybe the Hebrew civilization because it was reborn. Because as far as I understood, it's not that I'm a specialist on religions. It's like the Hebrew culture had vanished and then it was reborn. So what we're facing now is a reborn of a civilization that was there, but then somebody is the people saying that it's not the exact same civilization. So there's a lot of discussions all over the world about what's Jewish, who's not Jewish. So I have my own theories, okay, and they're popular because I talk about them like everywhere. Like the three biggest religions of the planet in number of people are Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. In Asia, there's others there. Buddhism, Hindu, but I won't go there because I don't know those religions as much. I sympathize with them, but superficially. I cannot talk about Asian religions, okay? But when it comes to the Western civilization, it was the Mediterranean, okay? Mediterranean is where the section of land that's between Europe and Africa and the Middle East, okay? That's where the Abrahamic religions come from. Christianity, Judaism, and Islam. I am European, okay, so European means we have pagan and Christian values. That would be the most popular version of European. It's this combination of pagan and Christianity, okay? Why? Because we believe in altruism as something positive. Your problem is my problem. That's very European, okay? Other communities have that as well. But that's not Jewish, for example. Jewish people do not believe on that. Jewish people, they believe that you are born on your own and you die on your own. And if you want help, it's up to yourself. Exclusivity. Usually Europeans will depend on each other a lot. So there are lots of differences, okay? But the reborn of the Hebrew, okay, it's kind of it's a bit new. So it's all over the place. And 20 years ago, I don't know Jewish, but I would not even study. I did not know nothing about the Torah, the Talmud, the Shalom. Now it's the Hakunah or the lights. I'm kind of learning now. What I do, but now that I understand Judaism, I see, like my stepmother, for example, she's Jewish, and I did not even know about that. Like when she married my dad, my biological dad, I did not even have an idea that she was Jewish. Now I understand. Okay, she's Jewish Messianic of Jesus. That's one of the versions of Judaism, and that's her niche in particular. It's Portuguese speaking Jewish Messianic of Jesus, and there's loads of them in Brazil especially. So okay, so then you're trying to organize. Then we go back to the Bring Civilization Back Trust. Maybe I would make it a bit more like accurate, more I would say maybe bringing the common laws back because I kind of try to understand what do I represent when I say civilization, at the very beginning was this what in America we call civilization, okay? Usually American people, which I relate a lot to the United States, usually you say, even I have some, I have my, look at that, I have Bill Clinton and Donald Trump, like Republican and Democrat, both, okay? That's very European, okay, to have both, okay? because we connect things. We don't divide things. We don't understand that socialists would fight against capitalists. Usually in Europe we combine both. Okay, we don't believe on those type of divisions. Okay, but when it comes to the United States, when Americans say civilization, usually Americans mean this I beg your pardon thing, apologizing, excuse me, can I come? That's kind of a civilized, it's something like, oh, I apologize, they're going to pay this in a week or so, and then that's very American. Then you write there on your book, okay, there's going to be a payment. There's this kind of tranquility that will American people call civilization. I believe the BCB Trust, the Bring Civilization Back Trust, is more related to that. Also because I started my professional career salesman directly related with American issues. So usually trade shows in the United States, inviting people for dinner, like those things that for some reason someone took the decision that the best solution would be to erase all those costs, eliminate every salespeople from the planet Earth, and that people will buy. I think there's videos here a lot. Usually I tell me as a professional from sales industry, that does not exist. Okay, there's always a middleman, there's always me. You don't buy directly from where you need, there's always people involved. Okay, so basically what you do is a price transfers. When you try to eliminate the salespeople, you're basically bringing the dumping, let's say, the power of purchase to the buyer. So the buyer is going to sell. It happens to me a lot with my businesses in Argentina, for example. Most Argentinians, what they do is they give you permission to sell. That's about it. Okay, but then I'm like, I had meetings, like real meetings with politicians in Argentina, that I say, well, if you, I work international. Okay, my scope of business is international. So, well, if an Argentinian entrepreneur or an Argentinian politician says that me representing foreigners, I have to be responsible for the sales process in Argentina, like the whole thing. Let's say rice business. It's like, I grow rice, that's it. That's what Argentinians offer. The rice is here, that's it. Well, if me as a foreigner, I need to get involved on your company and do the sales process in order to buy, that is colonization. Like, I'm colonizing you. Because you're basically just saying, I have the raw material here, you do everything you want. That's colonization. Then you go to politics. It's like, is that what Argentinians really mean? Are they asking for colonization? Because that's colonizing. Because at the end they say, we are imperialists. So because Americans, they come here, I'm talking America because my business is America. Okay, I don't know. It's like, I'm here for 5 years. I gave them plenty of opportunities where they will simply hire me as a consultant, pay my fees, and I'll be processing that sales on their behalf. But that's not what they want. They say, no, we want you to do the whole thing, cover all those costs. And okay, but that's colonization. I'll be colonizing you. Like, that's the thing. But I don't know, let's wait, understand on the process down here. Okay, but then going back to civilization, they bring Civilization Trust Chapter 82. I'm wearing the Donald Trump hat. It was in the news in Argentina a month ago because I went to an event here, politics. Somebody took a picture of it. They were anti-Donald Trump, so they twisted the story. Again, the same way they did in Ireland 2017. The same thing, the exact same thing. Here they twisted something around. They said I was a naturalized American. They said that I live in the country for only 3 months. They did not mention I'm doing seguridad patrimonial here, which is security, because I own inheritance here, properties, and I'm doing security because they were trying to steal those products from me. Something is not anti-America. That happens between Argentinians a lot. Actually, I am Argentinian as well. I was born here, so it's very common in Argentina. It's a type of white-collar crime that happens all over the time here, which is related to property fraud. It's very common, not only in Buenos Aires, but also in Rosario. I'm not sure the whole country, but what's the city of Rosario? The city of Buenos Aires, there are big cities with loads of apartments, houses, millions of those, right? Like any other major city around the world. There is a lot of property fraud, which is related to money laundering schemes, because you have to understand a lot of the cocaine trade from South America to Miami, Barcelona, and all those party places. they go through Argentina. So they produce cocaine in Colombia, in Paraguay, in Bolivia, but then they process, they send it to Argentina, and then drug lords from Miami, they finance schemes of corruption, fraud in Argentina, so that the cocaine landlords, it's kind of, they pay for the cocaine is stealing property in Argentina. Can you believe that? That's a fact. Okay, I have been victim of that. I'm still victim of that. It's like they may even murder you. Okay, maybe you have someone. I'm a borderline, maybe a victim of that. Something like you are Argentinian, you own an apartment, and then out of the blue you get a job. You go on tourism to Barcelona, and then boom, you get a job there. At a restaurant, it's not like great jobs. Okay, so but it's a job. You're young, you're like, wow, that sounds like interesting. I get this job, and then I work at a restaurant in Barcelona, and I'm having a good time. And you're like, wow, that was so easy. Simultaneously to that, the cocaine cartel of Barcelona agrees with attorneys and judges and politicians in Argentina to spy your family. And then they will find out, because they know you own property in the country. It's like maybe this boy who got this job in Barcelona owns an apartment in the country, or his mom or his dad passed away and he's a lonely child. So what the cocaine cartel does, they go and maybe they murder his mom. His mom goes to an Argentinian hospital, and then she has an issue like it's qualified murder. It's not that simple. It's not that barbaric. It's something like, because they have like a mailing list. Like they manage thousands of properties in Buenos Aires and Rosario. So then they will study, and then this mom had an accident maybe. But you know, it's soft criminal. It's not that red. It's very well done. It's very sophisticated. So she goes to a hospital, and then out of the blue, she's unattended. She passed away straight away. They go coordinating in Barcelona what he's doing there, or maybe Miami, or New York City, or Los Angeles also. And then they're like, okay, now it's the time. Boom, let this woman die at the hospital. And then she has an accident. The doctor gives the wrong medicine, whatever. It's very qualified murder, okay? And then, boom, the apartment is empty. Somebody occupies, and then is when you start the money laundering and the fraud, and then it's when Argentinians somehow, then you have like a wall of Argentinian attorneys that they're specialized in this type of crime. It's kind of an industry down here, okay? So it's very organized. It's organized crime mafias, okay? And then this guy would be working in Barcelona, and then because he has to take a plane to come all the way to Argentina. It's like it's not that easy. It's a transcontinental flight. You need $2,000, and maybe he's paying rent in Barcelona. Miami even worse because you have the visa problem. Okay, and then boom, apartment's gone. And how does that work? It's usually like that's also justify why property in Argentina is so cheap. Okay, because it's not really that safe to own property in Argentina, especially urban. I'm not sure about farming. Okay. But then what the cocaine cartel does, you know, they pay the drug lords with those apartments that they steal, but it's a you know, like is anyone following? It seems too complicated. It's like, I'd say one kilogram of cocaine is worth $500,000. Okay, so 2 houses, 1 apartment in Argentina covers that cost, and then there's Bolivia involved, Paraguay. You know, that's a South American stuff, okay? Like you have to understand that cocaine is from South America, right? And it's popular all over the world. People use it like everywhere, and they need to do and it's illegal. It's against the law. People talk about cocaine like as it was no, it's against the law. You go to jail if you do drugs like that. It's hard because it's hard use drugs. Like you will die if you do cocaine. That's why it has all these restrictions. And tobacco does not, alcohol does not, because there's a entire, I can go for hours talking about that, okay? So, what civilization we're bringing back? Well, maybe it's American civilization. I had a very positive response. That's why I have it down here. Look at that. I have this big letter. It's a long letter. That's the signature of Mr. Donald Trump down here. Mr. President Donald Trump. Look. It's and I did look. I support Donald Trump for over 10 years. Um, People don't ask, but I have stories about that. It's substantial. It's because the number one reason that I decided to give my attention to politics is because I have a business in the United States and I had very serious issues with the Exim governmental bank, which is the bank that promotes the exports and imports of the United States. Other issues such as immigration and things like that, there is issues of that, but nothing that's substantial that are really trying politics to change that. I find immigration now is being treated more seriously. I think it was really out of the control what was going on. Now I think it's something serious, finally. And but which is okay, but not, that wouldn't be my issue. I would be interested in American politics that much as but the Exim Bank, I think that was what triggered me, okay? Because I was victim of fraud, okay? Financial fraud. I think it's one of the first important financial crimes I have been victim of in this 20 years of a self-employment, sole trader, businessman with my own company, okay? Which is LEGroupindustries.com, okay? And but what was the issue? The issue was credits, because in 2012 I applied for credit at the Exim Bank and I had all the requirements. It was massive amount of paperwork. My office in the United States is at Port Everglades, which is a federal jurisdiction. For those who do not understand, on law in every country, you have what's nationwide, you have what's statewide, and you have what's citywide, okay? So as far as city would be Miami, as far as state would be Florida, as far as federal would be the United States. As my company is international and it's in the foreign trade zone or Port Everglades, is addressed more like a international that goes up federal, okay? The Exim Bank is a federal bank, okay? And its office was just around the corner from my own office because we were in the same complex at Port Everglades in Florida. So we have the Federal State Bank to promote the export, we have the U.S. Customs, we have the Border Patrol, and certain companies such as my company who are related to that business, being import, export, international logistics. That's what I do. Okay, so I go and I meet them face to face. I think what Martha, her name. There is bureaucracy, strong bureaucracy that says that I can only because as my company is in Florida, so the office to take care of me is in the deep southeast, which should be Florida, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, those states. Louisiana, so all of those states, I have to address to this office in Miami, and so that's formal, that's bureaucracy, and then I file all the paperwork, extensive paperwork, like nothing nowadays is simple. So my personal credit scores were checked, my company, the Dunstan Brown was double checked. I had to have over 3 years of business. I had to have a minimum turnover of maybe $1 million, and I had to check. I filed all the paperwork and notary and the whole thing, and then I processed the whole thing, and I needed $80,000 for 2 weeks. Okay, the funds. It's a banking issue. Okay, I'm talking about financial fraud, like financial crimes. Okay. So, which was the topic of the message I sent to Mr. Donald Trump, and he answered that. And but the thing is, the funds, the capital needed to process the export shipment of products made in America 100%, like even the cans, it was milk in cans, like sweetened milk in cans, and for Africa, and I had the payment, and that was a lot of work, okay, together. But the payment, they come through a letter of credit. So the letter of credit means that the payments are boxed under my name. They're locked on that account in New York City under my company name, and I have the rights to use it, but only if I ship the product. So that's what the bank is doing there, okay? It's guaranteeing for my client overseas that once I ship, I'll get that payment. But he's guaranteeing to this client that I will not touch the money before shipping. So I have a no-no situation there. I had to ship the product to get the money, and I had to get the money to ship the product. That's why the Exim Bank is for. And that was during the Obama administration, and he was even advertising on TV that the Exim Bank was a fantastic solution for the export business and all that. So I did, and then I was approved. Check. Everything was fine. Then there was a technical issue. They said something like that the credit score was good, but it was too recent. So I like, okay, how we solve that? But then comes me as an European who is growing in South America, and then I go to the Brazilian bank that does the same thing for years, which is called Banco do Brasil, which is very familiar with, and they're trying to really help you because they want to ship American product made. It was for me inimaginable. I could not even imagine that the Exim Bank would boycott this, and they did. Okay, so what they did is at the right moment when processing this payment, which I need $80,000 for 2 weeks, and I even offered them, look, you can even make that deposit at the milk, because I'm more of a trading company, but it was my brand. It was my brand in Arabic and in English. My brand. It was trademarked. Okay, and I was adding all this logistics, server finance, the whole service, because I'm service industry, and it's a big manufacturer in New York State that they produce for several different companies, and then for what reason, Marta, which is the employee of the Exim Bank in Miami, took the decision to transfer the whole deal to an offshore company in California. So that's the things like why, because at the end of the day, the person was a private firm in California, in Los Angeles area. So that's why, like the Exim Bank, I was not dealing with an email saying eximbank.gov anymore. That was a private company. It's like, okay, so this is a private enterprise. So it's not a state bank that promotes, like, that's not public, that's private. Why I did not start from the beginning with this offshore company in Los Angeles, and then why Jennifer was her name, and why Jennifer overpowered me and imposed that she had a problem in her system and that I was not allowed to, that was her last words. Okay, she said, look, we have a problem in our system, and so we cannot reapply your case, we cannot fix your case, but if you are still interested, you can talk to us in 3 months from now. And then obviously went totally out of control, and it got worse, because then a week or two later, my clients in Africa, he had another deal lined up in Dubai. So that's why obviously the investigations at some point, I have reported this to the FBI, maybe they come out with how come this entire deal, like what Jennifer in Los Angeles did, because I was making $30,000 gross profit, but on a business that took me 1 or 2 years to develop. So if I split it for 2 years, that was like $300 a month. But then when it was ready, and then they had this chunk of cash, what Jennifer did, el manotazo, as they say in Argentinian, they say manotazo, it's like a big hand, like the big hand, boom, and the deal was gone. And then probably, that's my opinion, because I don't have like 100 eyes to be really big brothering the whole world, but it seems to me that what she did, she had all because once you apply, you gave them all the information. Somewhere she traded in the black market of data, especially California is famous for that. The data maybe ended up in Dubai. She got some cash in her pockets, and there we go, and I had to sign. The thing is that in order to continue my service to the client, because the client has no business with that, I was overpowered, and I wouldn't explain someone overseas all of this, like he didn't even know what I was talking. He would go. There's no point. I don't do that. Okay, so I just apologize or something, and then because I had to sign, because the funds were already in my name in this bank in New York. So I had to authorize the bank in New York to return the funds to Africa. And then he transferred it to Dubai, which is this different company that has it. And then, okay, then it's when I'm done, like this is really out of control. There are other issues. Then come on, we have in my case, living in Miami as a minority, okay? I was like, yeah, I still have that problem a lot. It's like, why am I in Miami? Like, why did I start in business in Miami? What's Miami about? Then he goes, that's why I have been filing a law. So they bring Civilization back to us now. I don't even know what name to give, because maybe I'm not sure the civilization we have is that civilized. But now I have I'm putting all the reports, because the there's new things. I really appreciate. I do like this second shifts of Donald Trump, the second round. Okay, his first government was different. There was a pandemic. I'm enjoying. I think it's a good government. I like it. I do like it. Donald Trump 2025. I like it. Okay, I think it's interesting. It's very interesting. I'm paying attention to everything he's doing, and I'm really proud of this interaction, which I will read. I sent a letter about this things. Okay, that will be the predominance of my case. Okay, and then he says. He answered me, "Dear Mr. Caceres," which is my last name. I use Obrien, but Caceres is my last name. Okay, and thank you for taking the time to share your views regarding our justice system, public safety, and the rule of law. As president, one of my most critical duties is to restore the sacred principle of equal justice under the law for every citizen by rebalancing the scales of justice in our nation's halls of power. That's a great word. Under the Trump administration, the era of government weaponization is over, and a new era of justice, integrity, and honor is upon us. That's very positive, right? What's the issue here? Like, that's positive. Let's believe it's true. It's very positive. So he continues here. It's a long letter. What I believe, that's my impression. I think the first line, it was personal. If I had to choose, I believe Donald Trump definitely read my letter, and he definitely wrote the first sentence. The rest of the letter, I believe, is a bit reproduced. I believe several people may have received the same context. Okay, I don't think someone has the time to really answer thousands of letters a day, but I do believe that the first sentence, which I will read it again. Thank you, Mr. Caceres, for taking the time to share your views regarding our justice system, public safety, and the rule of law. I think he did. I believe he did. I believe that he wrote that to me. Okay, I do believe. The signature, I think, is electronic. Okay, I don't think that hand sign, but I'm proud of it. I have it in my wall in my house, and I have it in at the front door also, because I also represent a political party from Italy, so I have all that standing, because I think it is a very good, and I'm happy about it. I had comments from Brazil, and then we go back to the section 201, which I love. I did not know the United States trade representative. Trade representative was related to the presidency of the United States. I thought, because I follow the news, and that goes directly to my business, also justifies why I am based in Miami. Okay, and I have been sending a lot of mails to them, because that has changed a lot. That's very positive in my situation, because a lot of the problems I have, they are definitely related to this decision of the president of Brazil, Lula, who has a lot of issues against the United States and in favor of other nations that are not really in favor of the United States. It's this President Lula, Lula, that because he created this agency in Miami in 2005, and that has absolutely influenced a lot my career, and that also explains why my office is in Miami, and also kind of now with the investigations, maybe I may be surprised it seems I have been used, okay, because that's what would be my conclusion, because it can be 20 years of problems. The Exim Bank, the case that I explained in detail, would be in a specific situation that did not involve Brazil, that was United States and Africa. So that's the one that made me really focus in the United States, because that's my company is in the United States. The furniture, the supplier is in the United States. The office, I'm there. I was legally working in the United States, not only as the owner of the company, but on an H-1B visa, a work permit, and it was a tremendous, massive amount of money and time that I invested from my own funds to establish my business, and then so that's 100% American problem. That's the one that financial fraud in a governmental state bank. I would say the most famous one, which is the Exim Bank, Export Import Bank, to promote exports of made in America products. Okay, but then it comes the whole story. Like, I was raised in Brazil, and usually on an Americanized family. Part of my family, they came from Ireland to Massachusetts, Boston, from Massachusetts, Boston to South America. It's Obrien, okay, that my grandmother's family, okay, but which I use all the time. Usually people understand me better as an Obrien than as a Caceres, okay, but then the whole story, why I'm in Miami, well, there's an agency from Brazil that they started there. It's called APEX, APEX, Agency of Promotion, Exports and Investment of Brazil, and then I'm associated to that, and then I'm established there. But it has been 20 years of a lot of confusion involving Brazilian businesses, which are still to this day. And I had a very anti-civilization problem in September. It's a new police report in the United States. It was filed in September because there's an issue there. I'm landlocked in Argentina. People don't pay my bills. I have a lot of invoices, and I send invoices. People don't pay. They don't pay the invoices they're past due. They don't pay the current invoices. They don't pay the future invoices. And actually, in my case, as a promoter, sales and marketing, it's kind of stupid. Why manufacturers, they will not pay my costs if I am the prosperity, like, it's because that's what I do. Okay, I do sales, and I say I have a lot of, because they're piling up. I may pick one. Okay, let's see. I talk a lot, but let's pick one. Let's explain one case. Let's see which one. We do the lottery game, as I did. I have several files here. These are sales. These are business opportunities. Okay, some I have more. Okay, it's a lot. That's pretty heavy. Okay. Every file is a different one. So let's see which one comes. Let's see. This. RFP Brazil. Look which one. That's interesting. Let's talk about this one. Okay. It came exactly. It says drafts. It's an offer. It's £10,000. It was offered to a client in London, in England, and yes. This one is related to sustainability. Okay, it's a client, which I do appreciate, people appreciate. I end up doing business that I do have something in common with everybody, clients, suppliers. It's let's not go personally, okay? But there is £10,000 here that I have requested. And why is this $10,000? For marketing and sales costs. It was never paid, okay? But then I say, okay, you did not pay. I try to do as hard as possible because this issue, and I even had written messages from this client saying that please do not spend the £10,000, which are in his pockets, on my pockets, that he wired to me. It's not here. Please, only online calls. Okay, so it's all these voodoo calls, let's call it, the Zoom calls. I call them the voodoo calls because they don't go anywhere. I mean, they go, it's entertaining, but it's going to be a long video if I start to explain cases, which I understand as a salespeople person, that usually as media is all mixed with a commercial, people do not materialize. It's a substantial, because I work with manufacturing. I'm a salesman for manufacturing, for mechanic stuff, like farming, like the rice for real, like tractors, the tractors for real, the machine manufacturers. Like usually that's what I'm not a bank-to-bank salesman. I sell banking, but to the manufacturing. Like usually, I'm direct with manufacturing, rice growers, factory producers, energy plants. It's all structured. Usually, the people behind me is usually engineers. It'd be even a plant engineer, an electrical engineer, an agricultural engineer. The people that they just do, all they want to know is that on sustainability, all they want to know is like how many trees you're planting, like 50, 100, 1,000. That's how I need to buy 10,000 seeds and how many kilos of fertilizers and one tractor. That's what they want to know. That's what they hire me for. Okay, then I talk to the bankers, the politicians, the bureaucrats, and I go, okay, this is it. Okay, it's 10,000 pounds, which is this offer here. It's an invoice from my company. This is company in London. It's a banking, they're finance company. And then I said, please transfer this 10,000 pounds because they are going to be used on marketing costs. And a lot of those would be online costs, like the website. It was never paid. But then you ask me, okay, that was not paid, but did the business move forward? No. But then it goes a time. Okay, then go back to the issue. Okay, because when I started my career, I would go everywhere, I would travel everywhere. I would it's part of my job to explain my costs. There is an event. This event has a cost. There is needs of one travel, two travels, dinner for two, dinner for three. But it's a business dinner. It's not for fun. It's for business. But it's still a dinner, and I wouldn't fight. That's the civilization that I do miss. Okay, I miss. I don't think it'd be behind a camera, 24/7 is really that great. Okay, so yeah, that was the one. But let's pick one more. Let's see. Let's one more on the FBI. Okay, these are the FBI files. These are the ones that I Federal Bureau of Investigation, okay, which is great, and is public with public funds, okay, public. So let's see which one I have here. This one. Oh, the case L810-18, Brazil. Okay, it was fully reported. It's a FBI. This is where I find my reports because this is the case is there. It's Alexandre Almeida is there. It's a case that really involves a lot of people, and it caused me a lot of problems. My personal apartment in São Paulo City was even dismantled in 2019 due to this boy who did not pay. His case was interesting because because I made in the FBI the whole thing now because of the 3111 section. It's a sequence of a combination of factors, and because I haven't done that before. I had like local police reports, but now I'm being more serious. But also there is new technologies too. I don't think that I had these tips like 5 years ago because this case is from 2018. So this case is on 6-7 years. And again, on the letter that I wrote to Donald Trump, I did mention this because one of the topics that I mentioned on this letter is that I say, well, the whole people all over the world are talking about these, let's say, nut jobs, these criminals that they're stabbing, especially girls, right, on trains and public transportation in Europe and in America. Those videos, I believe they're real. There's conspiracy theories now saying everything was fabricated. I don't think so. It's not real. Like they're out of the blue, somebody with a knife this size go and stab you in a train. Okay, especially girls, inoffensive young girls, or this obnoxious, unacceptable, like horrendous case of this lady, young also, very white, who was set on fire in a train. That this guy had gasoline and a lighter or something like that, and then he dumps gasoline and she's on fire. And as far as I've seen, she's not going to recover. I mean, she's going to recover. She's alive, something like that, but she'll have like permanent damage. I mean, crazy. But then the most crazy is that what happened to those who are those criminals. And then like people that have been to jail like 40 times, they've been convicted for 40, 50 times, 35 times. So they go to the jail, then they're released, and go to jail again. Like it's a business. It's like a pizzeria. Like I want to sell pizza every week. Okay, that's every week. We put this man in jail, then he's released. So that probably is kind of a business there, which is the resting and resting. You know, that's what it sounds to me like. Why this guy was simply not in the jail all the time? Why he's released and then back? Okay, probably because some people are making money every time he goes to jail, so it's good that he goes free. You know, something stupid like that. You know, I believe. But no matter what, that's basic crimes. They're easily to really be understood. And me, I'm victim of financial crimes. I've been robbed like hundreds of times. And on financial, like the Exim Bank is one case of financial fraud that I was victim of. And those lawsuits are super complicated, they're super long, they're originals. I have issues now with my office in Miami. I don't know where my originals are, or the paperwork, you know, and then that's what part of this letter that I sent to him as well. It's like, well, it's possible, talking about this case of Alexandre Almeida, the LA10, he's Brazilian and he was conducting business in the United States due to me, because the company that he embezzled, defrauded, and stole, it's my company, because I was the key person, was doing all my services, and he was just shipping the product to my clients. At some point, he did the Manotazo Argentina, which is this big hand, and he robbed all my clients, and he started to talk to him direct. It was a scheme, it was a fraud, it was orchestrated. And when I was refiling the things here to the FBI, this recent documents that I'm filing, I think there was like 16 reports against him. Like I had like 16 different. I have reports in Texas, I have reports in Florida, I have reports in Minas Gerais, the state police. I have a lawsuit in Brazil for labor law. I have a report in Ireland. I have a report. I mean, I was because I put all the numbers of all the reports and the. Oh, they're like 16. So I mean, this case is there on this gray zone since 2018. So it's six years. But now, thanks to President Donald Trump, now the Section 301 that's dedicated people to take these cases. What I am offering is not that it's not particular for a solution in my case, but what I did try to say, and I'm not sure if they're reading it, it's not that I have a black and white response. As you can see, that President Donald Trump response is a bit generic. It does not specify anything specifically, but I have volunteered and I said, look, for this Section 301, you can have all my files. I donate them to the United States, like I give it for free. Like just get them all there. I have all the paperwork there, and you can use it as a case of investigation to really, because there's cross-cultural things. Okay, I think there's two things here that I believe are kind of intriguing. One is that Brazilians' attitude in the United States. Usually Brazilians, they have something that kind of, because Brazilians in Argentina, for example, they respect the local culture of Argentina. Brazilians, when they come to Argentina, they kind of observe a bit how things are in Argentina, and they kind of look, Argentinians, they eat pizza in the morning, they don't eat it in the afternoon. Look, that's different. Like they kind of, okay, but Brazilians and the United States is a total different scenario. It's something like, I don't know. They do whatever they want. They're very like they go deliberately doing what they want, and usually there's people like me that they warn them, that I tell them what they're doing. And they totally don't care. They continue to do whatever. They say I am the problem. No, not what I'm saying is the problem. And then they end up with a lot of other different problems and cases. So that's a cross-cultural thing, which I believe maybe they're being addressed properly now, because President Donald Trump came a very, very strong attitude towards Brazil to try to put things on black and white in the country, and which also, Brazil is a big country. Brazil produces a lot of things. Brazil is a beautiful country. Like Brazil does have a lot of positive things, and so that's kind of interesting to appreciate. The second thing is that it seems to me that America is way too privatized nowadays. It's everything's private, so it seems that because even on the public services that I'm talking, the Exim Bank or the Exim Bank's a case, is come on at the end of the day, because the concrete, the mechanical acts of transferring and processing the payment to me was a private company. So that comes like, okay, so the Exim Bank is a private bank, it's not public. And so that's something that has to be addressed, I believe, in the United States, because either you are 100% public or you're 100% private, or if it's a mix, it should be mixed. It's a mixed public and private company. Because my relationship and my attitude with the Exim Bank was as a public bank. But then at the end, I was dealing with a private company. This financials offshore company in Los Angeles is private. So it's like my attitude would have been different. Like if it's a private company, why do I do all this public process if at the end of the day I'm talking to a private offshore? So I believe that's something that should be addressed also in the United States. And I believe, it's way too private. It's a bit out of control. It's being run as a private company. And so that would be my Bring Civilization Back Trust chapter. And I don't know. I don't have anything like substantial on any of my. There's nothing really. If I say it's been there's nothing here. The Molinos Rise, this one also since 2016. This one is serious, because this one it's a business. It's not only Brazil, but also it's a high risk country. The country that received this product is a product that has a country that has a lot of issues in the United States, and I was managing that well, but fortunately I was overpowered by people in Brazil. It's a case L615 against João Marco Zencato. There's Marshall Islands involved. It's kind of absurd. That comes also me when I start my business in America, even if it was Miami, even if it was a PEC, I was still trusting the United States as a whole. That kind of, because everybody expects the United States to be perfect, like it's the strongest country in the world. I wouldn't imagine that Miami was so out of control, okay? Because I go to a meeting with an attorney in Miami, and that attorney in Miami, without my presence, instructs my client to, instead of continue doing what he was doing, to open an offshore company in the Marshall Islands. So that then a few months later, he falsified my brands, shipped to my clients in Africa, and started to take my profits. Instead of paying me, he sends falsified versions of my brands, and then got all this profit to the Marshall Islands. And this whole thing was orchestrated in Miami and by people that I know, and then they boycotted me, the American company who created the whole business, copyrights and labor law, which is the big picture, a lot of things I complain about, because it's about how safe it is. For example, this video I'm recording right now, I was wondering, should I do a video or not doing a video, because this video goes straight to Google, and then this is going to be processed by artificial intelligence. It's going to be dumped in a pool of data, and I have no clue what benefit I'm getting from it. Okay, I don't know. I don't know. I don't have any elements. I do this on a good faith, and I do it for the universe. I'm a faithful person. I'm a lucky person as well. I enjoy doing what I do. I feel happy about the freedom of speech. I'm here talking with some sort of property, some sort of responsibility about what I'm saying. But I still don't know. It's kind of a try and mistake kind of thing, which is not what I come from, because again, I work in the manufacturing, I work in the industry, which is very precise. You need to understand mechanically what you do, and I'm just talking like random here to a computer, and then I'm posting this on YouTube, and then it's there on my playlists, and then I don't know, maybe one day I'll put all my videos on artificial intelligence. I'll press enter, and that'll be boom, one summary, like a one video that will have some commercial use. Because a lot of these videos, when we talk like this, they're kind of a speech, they're kind of a classroom, stuff like that. So at some point, maybe we can bring something concise and hopefully being used for real in court sessions, which are very expensive I would like to add this also, because that's what I'm telling to my clients in Brazil, because I've been explaining the section 301. There's even prior video here where I explained the 301 section. And it's not fair that, let's say that's taxpayer money, okay? That's public funds. Investigation, presidency, the whole thing is public. I am opinionating that America is way too private, but still there's a public, right? And but the investigations are funded with public money, so that means American people, they're paying tax and they're sponsoring something public. So I believe if there's something that's binational, that's a problem between Brazil and the United States. When while I see that the bad guys are in Brazil, I believe the Brazilian government should pay for this cause, because something that's definitely true, and that's global, that's not American, Brazil, Portugal, Hong Kong, is that white collar crimes, they cost a lot of money. It's more than politics, because politics, they're still politics is it's a very expensive sector, because you sell in politics, that's very expensive, it's very time consuming. But white collar is even more, because you need to put up evidences, you need people that understand the laws, you need to, because usually white collar crimes, financial fraud, they combine a lot of complicated, it's super complicated. And the only thing that's not complicated is the manotaço. It's when this big hand, boom, and this funds, they disappear. And I have people like me that they have these gaps on payment. Okay, that's quick. Okay, but the whole thing is how they got there. How they have the signatures, like this, and this is illegal here. Is that not legal there? It's a foreign national. Is what visa was this person, and it's complicated. It's because it's detailed. You have details, and then you have the defense that says, "Oh no, but I did not know." Something very typical is that they say, "Oh, I did not know that. Oh, I was not familiar with that law. I did not know it was illegal. In Brazil, it's legal, but not in America." So it's expensive. It's really expensive, and the consequences are devastating. That's the thing, because once there's a gap of 1 million honest US dollars, it's 1 million US dollars that they're not in the hands of the right people. They're in the hands of people that did the manotaço, that they robbed those 1 million. So they're going to spend it with stupid stuff. Usually easy money, they spend it easy as well. They're going to be shopping, I don't know, is this condos you find in Miami that people in the whole world are trying to understand, like, what is that? Or the toothpick buildings in New York City, like those that they seem like antennas, that they have no purpose. Like, why somebody is going to live in a 255 floor in a skinny building that shakes? Talking about the 424 in Park Avenue in New York City. Like, what is this whole thing? What's that money? What's the whole thing about? Probably easy money. Okay, my personal opinion. Even opinion here, not a statement. And so the whole thing is super complicated, and I believe it has to be addressed, and I believe it's being addressed right now on a kind of a survival mode. It's something, you do this or you die, because I'm kind of seeing this on my business as well, because been 4 or 5 years, it's like either I do what I'm doing or I die, because there's nothing else to do. I try to fish new businesses, and there's always the same issues are repeated, because these cases had not been addressed properly in a timely manner like 10 years ago. Now we live in a kind of a situation that's kind of out of control, because now we have the scam of the scam of the scam. Now we have an industry that's, I don't want to go into those water, because I'm going to start talking about social media, and I'll do another video about that, right? Social media, let's not, but I have my social media is also here, okay? Social media files, they are here. Social media. There's a GoFundMe campaign here, but I don't want to mix the vibes, but they are all here, okay? About social media, there's a small radio that I had done business with, and that I have sent them an invoice, because it's not right that I charge Priscilla Zuckerberg and I don't charge a small radio that's doing the exact thing that she does with her family there in California, right? So But anyways, better days will arise, and they always arise. Okay, so look, if someone has reached up to here, it's been 1 hour of talking. So, Happy New Year, Happy Merry Christmas. For those who are Jewish, both Messianic, non-Messianic, Ashkenazi, Sephardi, practicant, no practicant, rich and poor also. People ignore poor Jewish people. There's millions of Jewish people that are poor. So happy Hakonah, or happy Day of the Lights, which start like on the 14th. I am not Jewish, but I have Jewish clients, relatives, and so I hope everybody is doing all right. And kind of the dates that coincide a bit. And happy Santa Claus Day, happy Joy Noel, and yeah, those are the holiday seasons by December, January. I don't think there's any other community celebrating anything. I think just Jewish and Christians and pagans, right? Because Santa Claus is pagan, right? And but yeah, because Muslims is in April, Buddhists is in February, and then we keep it going. All right. So greetings from Rosario, Argentina, where I'm based right now. All right. Cheers. Oh, this is how they greet in originario, like local tribes in Argentina. They did this. Hi, hi. This means hi. They say or bye. And that means I have no guns in my hands. That'll be a good. We should learn that one. Hello, hi, and then has means you have no guns. You're just saying hi. That means you have no guns. All right. Cheers.